Rovers return to EFL action this midweek with our first Northwest Crunch clash of the season. Standing in the way are Blackpool. I've got Lee Charles on the other end, and we're going to talk about the game and more next. That's right, folks, back once again with another prediction video. That's right, folks, back once again with another match. That's right, folks, back once again with another Rovers Rivals video. Today, we're looking forward to Blackpool on Wednesday at Bloomfield Road, and we'll get to that in a second. Of course, big shout out to the VIPs, they are the patrons, of course. You know who you are, and of course, this is your one-stop shop for Rovers content, Championship content, Woo Cup content right here. Of course, make sure you subscribe, thumbs up, and of course, make sure you're bloody well. Vote, vote, vote. That's right, Football Content Creator Awards. Look at the best in video for an organisation, best content creator as a whole, and best club content creators as well in the Football League. So do that, link is in the description. But I am joined by, of course, Lee Charles from Blackburn TV. So let's get into that and talk about the games and, of course, the season as a whole. Today is Lee Charles, part of Blackpool TV, but it is basically Lee Charles TV, a die-hard Blackpool fan. He is with me. Tell, of course, my small community out there, why on earth you support Blackpool?
Because I was born here, and my dad took me to ruin my life, as I used to say. Took me to games, and that's it. Once your dad takes you, you sort of your cousin else, the mass for life, aren't they? And to be honest, I always said, it was something that my dad did to ruin my life, but he lived to see the Premier League season with Blackpool. So he lived all till then, and he died in the October of the year after. So it kind of all made sense in the end that this journey that we'd done as a father and son for over 30 years, where we'd had a dream that we'd one day get back to the top. Because obviously, for my dad, he knew Matthews and Morty, and he went to the FA Cup final in 1953, and he would always talk about Blackpool being a sleeping giant. And for many Blackpool fans, when Blackpool kind of became a second division team for quite a few years, and my dad always used to say, we can't just stay in, Division 1, but we're a good team for for Division 2, and then we've dropped out of Division 2, and it took us 30 years, to get back again. And that was just, it was a lifetime, and it was just how I was with my dad, always dreaming, we'd get back, and eventually, we did get back into the Championship, and then, we did the miracle, and we got in the Premier League, and that, as I say, it just made the whole thing kind of make sense. Also, my dad was 77 when he died, and in that same year, Lancashire won the county championship for the first time in 77 years. Wow. So we'd had that. So we'd had that all through this every summer through my life, because I don't know if you followed cricket much, but like Lancashire would always get rained off, and they'd be, they'd be like leading, and then the weather had come, and we'd lose out. So he finally got to see two things on his bucket list: was to see Lancashire win the county championship, and also to see Blackpool get back in the Premier League. And it was fantastic times, with the Holloway and everything else. And then, of course, it all just fell apart, didn't it? And the Oystons ruined everything, really. And of course, we had the fan boycott, and I came back to watch. We boycotted, and I went to a meeting at the De Vere Hotel in Blackpool with Terry McPhillips, where they were talking about how, what day Blackpool fans could come back, to watch the game again, because there was this. In the stadium, there was only like 1,000 seats had actually been sat in. So all the rest of the seats were just covered in pigeon poo, and, you couldn't have sat in them. And so they were asking for volunteers to go and clean the seats. So, I thought to myself, I tell you what, I'll make a video about it. I was thinking about something to do for YouTube, and I thought I'll make a video, picking up a bucket and a sponge, and I'll clean some seats, and I'll film all the, how clean it's looking and how horrible it's looking with all the pigeon poo, and interview the the people who are volunteering. And that was my first video, and that got picked up by the One Show in the UK, and also Quest HD, who do the who did the highlights, and they both interviewed me on the comedy carpet on the great march back to Bloomfield Road, the homecoming day. So it all started from there, really, and I mean, what a great start to your YouTube career, isn't it, to get straight away on Stage D and the One Show. And I've never like achieved those heights since, but it's been tough. We're obviously here, and since we came back, particularly last season, the first season, it got curtailed, didn't it? Halfway through or 3/4 of the way through because of COVID, and then we had to do watch-alongs, obviously, because we couldn't go to games that COVID season, which Jane and I did, which we quite enjoyed, to be honest. And then we kind of said that we would go and watch every game, because Jane always used to watch like every game, throughout the season. So it was one of her things she did for 14 years. And so we did every game. We did the pre-seasons, we did the cup games, we did the, every single home and away game last season. So there's not many people do that. And honestly, it's been it was a huge commitment, if I'm being honest.
I hear you. I'm actually envious, like I'm here in the US, and I'm planning to go back to the UK in Christmas, and I'm going to be trying to I'm going to go watch all sorts of stuff when I get over there. Non-league, Rovers, whatever. I'm going to try and do it all. So, but
we have, a lot of exiles watch the channel. Obviously, people that don't live in Blackpool, people that, we have people in Australia and America, everywhere else, and we decided we kind of do the videos in a way that we kind of take you along with us. So, you get what it was like going in, walking to the ground, what it's like going in the turnstiles, what it's like behind the scenes, what it's like in your seat, what the crowd's like, and just kind of let you experience the match day with us. And that's the way we've done it. We do it for home games and everything else. So people get to feel as if they actually went to the game. And, I get complaints sometimes. I had a guy the other week saying, well, you didn't get the goal because like some guy stood up right in front of me, just as the goal was going in. But I said to him, well, you get to see what I get to see. That guy stood up in front of me. That's what I saw. Just as the goal's going in, he stands up in front of me and I couldn't see the goal. But you get the whole reaction of the crowd and just what I experienced, so it's as if you sat in the seats with me. And it was the same at Burnley. It was really hard at Burnley to film it. We were like in like sardines, and there was loads of heads in the way, and I could only just see the goal, and it was hard to see. But I'm not on a gantry anyway. I'm not Sky Sports. You're just coming along with me to a game, and we've really enjoyed it, and the channel's growing, and it's a lot of commitments, and we've kind of created a monster, all in the same thing, where now people I have to have these videos on by Sunday morning, because people have the morning breakfast with watching Lee Charles TV videos, so we have to do them, and sometimes it's a heck of a commitment, because especially on a home game, because I'm a DJ as well. So after the game, I do the Armfield Club, which is the Blackpool fans supporters club. I do the after party in there, so I get home about 10 o'clock-ish, and then I've got to start a video, which takes me about 8 hours, so I'm up till 6 in the morning putting a video together. I sometimes think, what the heck am I doing all this for? But it's kind of a busman's holiday. I love it, and I love making videos. It's what I do now. I make videos. It's not like working down a coal mine.
Videos, follow your passion.
But I enjoy it. Yeah, I love it. I love doing it. I've always loved music, and I've always loved movies and stuff. So, the chance to make videos and stuff, and it's just my passion. So, my videos are probably a bit more, they're edited down as much as I can in the time you've got. The problem is you haven't got weeks and weeks to edit these things. And we've also done the football tourist guide as well, which is another thing that Jane was keen on doing, because she has a blog and she reviews beer and food. She's into the the proper craft sort of, the real ale sort of beers and craft stuff. And so she has that on her blog, and she wanted to go, and review the experience of going away. So taking in museums, taking in, London shows that we did, any sort of trips. We can go on, stay in hotels, and just kind of show people what they can do and make a weekend of going away, because I was always one of those people that just basically, I would set off. If it's a 3-hour journey, I'd set off at like 11 o'clock in the morning, get there, park up, go to the game, watch the game, come home, wherever I'm driving from. But now we stay over for the whole weekend, so you kind of get you get a sense of what the place is like, and you meet the people, and it's, you have a good weekend anyway. We've done some fantastic museums, and some of the things we've done. We went to London, we saw the Book of Mormon, went out to the theatre, and it kind of makes it a good weekend, whether you win or lose. What I mean? You've had a decent weekend, but you also get to know the people as well, and you get to know other football fans, which is something that I don't know if you've probably found it now as well with what you're doing, where you're meeting football fans all the time. You start to realise at the end of the day, we're all basically the same, aren't we? You know, we're all the same kind of people. It ruins our weekends if we lose, and you know, it makes our weekends if we win, and our whole lives are based around, you know, the summer, who we're signing, who we're not signing, you know, what game we've got next. What, you know, the whole thing is based around football. Our lives are based around football, and we're all the same. And I just used to see the away fans as a colour, an annoying colour, and you know, people that I didn't know, and now I know them. I kind of sympathise with them a bit when we beat them, and you know, I can take it a bit more when I lose, because I'm thinking about them and you know, the kids that have travelled, and you know what I mean. It's somebody's got to win, somebody's got to lose, haven't they? And football's a fantastic community, isn't it?
It is.
And as England fans, we've suffered, haven't we? So. I've suffered as a Blackpool fan and an England fan, penalty shootouts, and you know, all we've been through, haven't we, together? So
all the heartache.
Yeah, all the heartache, and it's the drama of it all, isn't it?
Yes.
As well, which you couldn't half the time. You know, if it was a movie, you'd say it was far fetched, wouldn't you? You know, week after week, you would say it's far fetched. I mean, we equalised on Saturday in a game we should have won. I thought really, we were ahead twice, and we just couldn't get that second goal, and they come back and they got a bit of a lucky sort of ricochet out. You know, I don't know. If you see the goal that they scored from a free kick to take the lead, and then it was going into injury time, and you thought we were all over, and we come up with a blooming equaliser, don't we? And the whole place is going mental. And if that was a film, you'd say that was just like
staged, scripted.
Yeah, it was absolutely staged. Yeah, but it's fabulous.
So
so that's why I'm a Blackpool fan.
well,
to answer your question,
in a nutshell.
Yeah.
But so this season, Michael Appleton coming in, taking over this season. How was your reaction to Critchley's departure, Appleton coming in, and your overall start to the campaign?
Right. Well, we were away actually because Jane likes to go to Lincoln. She's got friends in Lincoln. We met friends in Lincoln through, and Cleethorpes as well, which she likes those two places. So we have to go and visit Clee and Lincoln, and she likes this Chippy and Cleethorpes and all sorts of stuff. So we were in Cleethorpes, and we just it's a beautiful, honestly, like perfect sunny day. We just sat ourselves down outside this nice bar. We just ordered something to eat, got some drinks, and I had this like milkshake thing that was, this frosty milkshake. It was great. I sat there, and Jane goes, "Oh, hang on a minute, there's a breaking news here from Bloomfield Road. Come on the Twitter." She said, "This doesn't sound good." And next thing you know, Critchley's left to go to Aston Villa with Gerrard, and honestly, it was like, oh no, what? Because we'd all bought into him. You know what I mean? There was a lot of things about Critch I didn't like too much, but I loved him all in equal sort of measure. And the things I didn't like was that he would change a winning team, which I hate. My dad would always say, you never change a winning team. You heard that. And he would just change them all the time. And the players didn't seem to get a good run going, and it affected a few players. But we still did very, very well with him. And he had this, kissing the badge, this yeah at the end of the game. All the fans were into him. And he was, he'd come from obviously Liverpool Academy, and, they're doing a new sort of training ground, academy at Bloomfield Road. He was all going to be behind it. And you had this, he'd signed a 4.5-year deal, and you just had this vision that he was going to take us somewhere fantastic. And, basically the first girl that's come along and batted her eyelashes at him, and he's off, and he's gone, it's like a 4.5-year deal only about 7 months before, and then he's gone. So we were devastated, you can imagine. And then the news came in. We were struggling to see who they were taking the time over, getting a manager in, and all these names were being bandied about. Rossinia from Derby, and there was other ones as well. And there was a guy that went to Barnsley he was another favourite, and they all fell through. And then they announced Michael Appleton. Well, oh my God. Well, you know what happened with Michael Appleton? I mean, to be fair, right, for anybody who's watching this who doesn't know, we had Ian Holloway, and he took us into the Premier League, and then he got us to Wembley again, and we lost so cruelly against West Ham. We were the best team, and we should have gone back into the Premier League, and then we were like top of the league in the, I think we beat Middlesbrough 6-0 or something, and the Middlesbrough manager said, whoever comes like second to Blackpool, will get promoted, because Blackpool are going to walk this. We would, he'd never played a team like us. and all the way left. And like Carl Oyston posts, if he wants to go, I'll drive him wherever he wants to go. We're thinking, what are you talking about? We're top of the league. We've been in the Premier League. What's going on? Anyway, they got Appleton in, and he lasted 10 weeks. 10 weeks he came in for, and he left to Blackburn Rovers to the Venkies. And we were like, what is going on? And of course, this Appleton had never been mentioned, never was on the radar, never was coming in. And of course, it's Michael Appleton. And, the forums went down into meltdown. Blackpool fans were going mental. How can he, he come back? He's left us after 10 weeks. But listening to what he was saying, he said at the time that, he felt Blackpool were the right team at the wrong time. And this time they were the right team at the right time. And he said it was poisonous at Bloomfield Road. The Oysters didn't give him anything that he promised. And he walked out on them. And to be fair, he was like the precursor to everybody else who kind of walked out on the Oysters as well. We all got, they started suing fans. And, that was the turning point for Blackpool fans. Once the Oysters started suing our friends and families and stuff, that's when they left. Jane also had to leave because she was a writer. She wrote for the Evening Gazette and the fans thing, and she wrote about football for a football magazine and everything, and she just couldn't write anymore for fear of being sued. So she had to leave, and she became a match secretary at Chase Town in the non-league for the years that out of the Oysters. But yeah, it was kind of not good news. But I did say at the time, I did a video on it, that Critchley left Blackpool in a much better position than when he came in. Yep. We're in a lot better position. The team on paper did really, really well last season. And to be honest with you, we made the Championship look pretty easy, really. There was nothing. There was only really Nottingham Forest who took us apart, and that was only because we gave them 3 goals. I mean, it was just shockingly bad. But the the Championship just didn't seem all that bad, and I thought we had a decent team. And I said to people, Critchley was a bit inexperienced. He'd never managed. He'd only been a coach, hadn't he? And he was a bit timid, and he was very scared of making substitutions, and a lot of the times, we were hanging on at the end because he would go all defensive. And I just said that, Michael Appleton's got a decent record, and a decent manager should be able to, with experience, should be able to take this team that Critch has put together and do better with it than Critch did, really. So I thought there was hope, but then we played pre-season. We had some tough, we had Leeds United, we had Rangers, and then we had Everton, and we had a couple of easy games. We had Southport, so we went from like playing Southport to then playing Leeds, and we didn't do, we lost every game against the big teams, and it was going into, it was just, people were saying they're not renewing and all this sort of stuff. And but I don't know if you're like me, but I kind of always have hope at the start of a season, and I can't start of the season without some sort of hope that we're going to do well. And I believe we're going to do well, and I always have, and we never do, or very rarely. We do, but most times, it's not as good as you hoped, and you don't get promotion, and it's not a great season. But I have to have that belief at the start of the season, or there's no point in, really turning up, buying season ticket, is there? So I started off this season with the usual hope that we're going to do well, and we're going to get in the playoffs and all the rest of it. And it's started off well. We beat Reading, so it was a good start, and then it kind of fell apart. We went to Stoke and set it all up wrong. Too many young kids in the middle of the park against Stoke, and we got beat 2-0 and deserved to get beat 2-0. We then had Swansea at home, and that was another, we missed a penalty and lost, at the end of the game from our corner. They went down and scored, and it was going. We had QPR away, which was on Sky, and then we had Burnley away. And honestly, every Blackpool fan was saying, well, this is like no points, you know what I mean? This is it. We're going to be bottom of the league. We've got 3 points. We're going to, you can imagine, can't you? But we went away, we beat QPR on Sky, and then we got, we come back from 3-1 down, Burnley, to draw 3-3. And then on Saturday, really, Bristol City looked a good side, if I'm being honest. But I thought Blackpool played really, really well on Saturday. So it's looking a lot more promising than what it was, and the feeling's changing a little bit, and people are starting to. In fact, they did actually sing Appleton's Tangerine Army on Saturday at one stage, which that's a big milestone because it really wasn't, a while ago. So, feeling a lot brighter about everything. And then we've got, of course, you.
Yes, that is right. We'll go into that a little bit in a minute. But what about, of course, Thursday, transfer window, deadline day? Any incomings and any outgoings?
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? The outgoing is more the worry than the incomings, really. We would have liked. There's been a couple of players that we wanted to sign. We kind of need a Charlie Adams style of midfield. One of these that can take the ball and drive it forward. It's something we've missed for a while, and losing Keogh as well. Losing that experience out, as a centre half. Although he was getting on, in football terms, he was Uncle Richard, but we loved him. We loved him. We took him like a duck to water. We turned him into this superhero because we would just sing, every time he shot the ball, we were just supporting him because the fans just loved him for some unknown reason. He's getting a bit of stick at the start because he's a bit slow, but he became this like superhero. The only thing that let him down was the fact that he's always injured. He gets a lot of injuries, but for his experience and everything else, I thought he was very valuable. And I think we could do with that sort of older head. We're a very young team, a really young team. So we could just do with somebody with an old experienced head as a centre half, but a bit younger than Keogh, if you could. Somebody in the late 20s maybe would be perfect. That's that kind of midfielder. We thought we got him. Brannigan, we met his release clause, it was 1.2 million and we met it. And he came down to Bloomfield Road and then he just went straight back and signed a new contract and just stuff you basically and stayed with Oxford. So we're a bit disappointed at that. But of course, the big thing for us is Josh Bowler. And I think he's going to go. I can't see him staying. There's rumours today it's a done deal with Leicester. If he goes to Leicester, it's rumoured 7 million. If we got 7 million for him, it's
that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money.
It's not though. It's not because it's a lot of money because he's only got less, a year left on his contract. If we hadn't just give him a year, because he was, we picked him up on a free. Obviously, Everton kicked him out. They paid 4 million for him, kicked him out. We got him on a free, on a year plus a year's extension, which we took. But he won't sign he's not signed a new contract. So because of that, he's not worth the money. But I'm telling you, he is one of the best players in the Championship. He had the most dribbles last season. He's exciting like no player I've ever seen. He just goes at you. He is the kind of player that you dream about. They can all pass sideways and backwards and all the rest of it. But Josh Bowler and the ball, it doesn't always come off. It doesn't always come off. But he gets the fans out of the seats. He is absolute dynamite. And Jane has actually said that he is. She's waited 30 years for this guy to come along. She's never seen a player like him, and you've got to watch him week in, week out to see how amazing he is. And he is really, when players who I don't think are as good are being talked about, 20 million from the Championship all the time. 20. I think Forest turned down 20 odd million, for the player that they are. And there's another player at the moment. I think the guy from Watford, Newcastle, put a 23 million pound bid in for him, and they turned it down. So. But I'd take it, you know what I mean? You'd take 7 million, and I'd rather him go to I know it was rumoured Blackburn Rovers were after him, and I wouldn't want him to go to a Championship club. I think he needs. I don't want to be, playing you and him playing against us. I'd rather him just go to a Premier League club and let's see what he can do, because he's actually a bit like Grealish, but even more adventurous than Grealish. If he gets, a proper club and proper players around him, he's going to be a star for England. I mean, he is so exciting. So we're kind of resigned to losing him, really, and so that could affect us. I think if we kept him, I thought we were going to get playoffs last season, if I'm being honest. You know, even though we're favourites, we're bookies' favourites. We're always bookies' favourites to go down Blackpool. That's just a thing. That's just how we are. We're always the favourites to go down. But yeah.
Well, of course, Wednesday, Blackpool Rovers. Who will Bowler play? Is he the key player for Blackpool, or if he doesn't play, who takes on the mantle as the key man for the Tangerines?
Well, at the moment, we've had a bit of a, you know, we've had these 4 loan signings that have come in. We've got Fiorini came in. He was a midfielder from City, and he got injured at QPR. Then we had Patino, who got injured at QPR, so he can't play. So we've got this other lad now. At the same time, we've got this lad called Theo Corbino. You might have heard of him, and he's starting to look a little bit exciting. And he scored the equaliser at the end, and he scored, you know, the first goal at Burnley, and he's the one that's sort of tipped to be. If we brought him in as a bowler replacement, so he's only a young lad again. He's only 20. He's come from Wolves. He's a good player, Canadian. He's trying to get into the Canadian international team, so he's trying. You know what I mean? He's not one of these lads that come on loan and well, you know what I mean, don't you? Get some garbage lads sometimes, don't you? You just can't believe that they're actually pulling on your shirt, can't you? Think what they're doing. We had one last year to Tyrese John Jules. Oh my God, he was so bad. It was just painful to watch him. He just awful. So Theo Corbino, I think we say it anyway. But he's he could be the one. But we're hoping Bowler's still here by Wednesday.
Yeah, we're in the same boat with Diaz. We're going to say goodbye at some point. It's either already said goodbye or Wednesday would be hopefully it. And we've got to get some money for him.
Sure.
End of the season ranking. What is your desire? Where do you think Blackpool will end up?
I would like to just finish above. I'd like to finish above where we did last season. So I'd like to top half finish if we can. That's where I'd like to be. Playoffs would be the dream, if I'm being honest. Well, no, automatic would be the dream. That's the dream. We're only 4 points off the top, so you know we're there and thereabouts.
Everybody has their 5 minutes. We've had ours already.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, well, you set off like a house on fire, didn't you? It's all gone a bit pear, hasn't it, for you recently? But yeah, finish above the Nobbers is always our, you know. It was very disappointing last season because with 2 games to go, we were above the Nobbers. With 2 games to go, and all we had was Derby to play, who were relegated, and Peterborough to play, who were also relegated. 2 relegated teams, and we're above the Nobbers with 2 games to go, and we flipping lost to them both. We lost to Derby. We lost 5-0 to Peterborough in a game where Critch put out a load of kids, really, and just. He just didn't get it at all. He just did not get it. So
Well, with the bowler in mind and everything in mind, you're in the dugout. What is your starting 11 for Blackpool come Wednesday?
I'd start with what we started on Saturday. Really, I think it was a decent team. He went 4-4-2. We had Grimshaw in goals. We had Marvin at Pateta, and we had Williams as centre half. I don't know. He took him off, Williams, though. He's this lad we've got on loan from Liverpool. He played Jordan Gabriel right back, who is one of my favourite players, to be honest. I don't know why Nottingham Forest let him go, to be honest. I think he's a great right back. We've got Dom Thompson, a lad we signed from Brentford. Our only signing so far, our only proper signing. Dom Thompson, who I quite like. Kenny Dougal in midfield. Then he had how did he play? He had Yates and Medine up front, and he had Lavery playing on the left wing, and he had Bowler on the right wing. And who else do we have in? Mine's gone blank. Who else was in it?
Yates. So he said Yates. I think.
Well, Yates was in it. Yates was in on Saturday. In the midfielder somewhere. Anyway, that apart from the one I can't remember.
Medine.
Oh, sorry.
Lavery.
Connolly. Stuart Connolly was in, midfield. So that was a team. It looked all right. I like Medine. He does a lot of work, but he's not scoring goals, which of course is, and sin as we call him, he's Gary Goals, isn't he? He's not scoring goals. So, but he does a lot of work. He set up Josh Bowler for the first with a beautiful, he just pulled it down in the box perfectly and just shoved it onto Bowler just put that in. And he does a lot of work, but then he took him off and brought that Corbeanu on and he scored, so I don't know what he'll do, whether he'll rest Medine, because Medine came on, it's funny, Medine came on at Burnley, and after he came on we scored 2 goals, and he went into Matt Scrafton, who's the Evening Gazette reporter, and just knocked on his door and he said, 2 words, Matt. I said, game changer. That's what he said to the Evening Gazette, and yet he took him off, and Corbeanu came on and got us a point, so he wasn't so much a game changer on Saturday. So it's going to be, I don't know, but I think they will go with Medine. Okay. We're a lot harder with Medine in. He's got that experience. He's an expert at what Jane would call shithousery, and you need to have a bit of that in this. We soon learned when we came into the Championship. We played Cardiff and we played Coventry, and both teams really did do the dirty on us. And we were saying we really need to wise up to all this and get a bit harder. And Medine is one of those players that when he's on, we look a bigger side and we don't look like we can be bullied as much. And he takes a lot of knocks and all the rest of it. Yeah, so I think he will probably go with that same team that he started off with. And he's not like Critch, he doesn't change a winning team. So, he's growing on me.
Second chance for Appleton. Okay, wrapping it up in a dicky bow. Final score, Blackpool Rovers, Bloomfield Road. You're on the spot.
Blimey. Well, I'll tell you what, I don't think it's going to be easy. It's never easy against Blackburn Rovers. You always have millions on the bench. I don't know what your bench is like now, but the times we played you at Bloomfield Road, I've looked at the bench and thought, oh my God. I would take a win. If we could win, it would be Dream Street. I've got to go for a win. I've got to go for a win. I'm a Blackpool fan, so I'm going for 2-1. Even though I've been Dream Street with that for 2-1. I'd kind of take a draw if I'm going for 2-1 to Blackpool. Turn it on Sky. I think Josh Bowler, if he's with us, he'll be playing for a few extra million on that. And a better deal. So I don't know, but we've won on Sky once. We beat QPR. Can we do it again? It's unbelievable that it's on Sky. I can't actually believe that Blackpool on Sky. They only showed about 2 games of us last season on Sky. They just completely ignored us. And
squeaked you in on the last day of August.
Yeah, unbelievable. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm expecting it to be really tough.
Yeah. I've gone with a draw myself. Just I'd like to get a point if we can, but it is going to be tough, like you said, Lee.
It's just you've gone off, haven't you? I don't know what's happened to you. Yeah. You started off. I mean, you were like romping the league, weren't you?
We got bitten by the injuries straight away. Defence, that's why we're scrambling for some centre backs right now in the last week of the. Are you still in that situation? Then? We are in the same boat that we were. Yeah, we haven't brought him in yet. Right. We're getting close. There might be one in, but I don't know if he makes the team. I don't think he changes. I think he has to bide his time to get in if he gets it.
Okay. Oh, I forgot to mention as well. We've when you said about a winger that maybe is coming in, we signed this young lad from Leeds, haven't we, on loan? I can't think what his name is. Just off the top of my head, it's just gone again. I don't know. He's not played. He didn't play on Saturday. And anyway, we've we've got another winger on loan, so he may well feature. I don't know. He wasn't on the bench on Saturday, so probably because he hadn't even trained with the team. So I don't know whether he'll feature or not, to be honest.
Well, it's an option. It's an option for Appleton on Wednesday. Lee, you've been a superstar. Appreciate it. Check out Lee's content. Of course, he goes everywhere, and he does a great job at it. So make sure you check it out. There should be a link in the description.
Yes.
Any closing comments before we let you go?
Just obviously, we search for us on YouTube. We're Lee Charles TV, Blackpool fan channel, so you can find us on Twitter at Lee Charles TV on Twitter, and Jane, her blog is janestewart.co.uk. If you like reading about beer and food,
who doesn't?
yeah, you'll love it. So yeah, thanks for having me on. Honestly, it's been great, Dirk. It's been a pleasure to meet you.
You too.
It's the first time we've tried to do a few things together, haven't we? So it's nice to meet
Appreciate
you.
it.
And all the best to Blackburn Rovers, for the rest of the season.
After
obviously.
Wednesday, good luck Blackpool. Hopefully have a shitter on Wednesday, but after that you can win the rest, except for the return leg. But definitely beat Preston, please.
Exactly. Oh God, yeah.
Right. Appreciate it.
Yeah, they are our main rivals.
Yeah.
And all thanks to Blackburn Rovers as well. Jane we went to Blackburn Rovers last season, and you have chicken biryani at Blackburn Rovers, and Jane loved it, and she tweeted about how wonderful the chicken biryani was, and the chicken biryani people got in touch with Jane and said, who do we get in touch with? Blackpool, and because of Blackburn Rovers, we now have chicken tikka biryani at Bloomfield Road, and it's magnificent. So there you go.
Great.
So it's all down to you guys. So you've improved the catering.
We try to do something right. Well, there you have it, folks. There you bloody have it. That's, of course, a big shout out to Lee Charles for joining us for this this build up to a busy week of football for Rovers. Of course, make sure, of course, you check out his content as well. Links to that is in the description. And don't forget to, of course, get in there and vote for Blackburn Rovers Seas content. Best in video, best content creator, and of course, best club content creator as well for a football league. You can do that, and of course, make sure you subscribe, thumbs up, all that kind of good stuff, and hit the bell as well, so you don't miss a beat, guys and girls. That is it. Of course, we'll be back, of course, after this. In fact, we're going to follow this all the way through to the final whistle. We do have a watch along. Pete from Philly Rovers will be here, and of course, we'll have a debrief with the review, a vlog, all that kind of business. That's all to come at you this week. But until then, guys and girls, that is it.